Now children, we are going to learn about the merits of the capitalist, merits of the mixed economy. We have studied about the merits of capitalist economy, we have studied about the merits of socialistic economy, and we have seen that in the mixed economy, the features, in the mixed economy, the features where there is a combination, where there is a mixture of the features of capitalistic economy and the socialistic features. Private sectors and public sector operating together, capitalistic features, socialistic features, price mechanism existing along with the controlled price mechanism, okay, social welfare also trying to be looked after and by the government, and also the freedom of the consumers. Now from there, some of the merits which can be taken up, that yes, these are the merits of the mixed economy. Proper allocation of resources. Both the private sectors and the public sectors are operating. Both the sectors are trying to efficiently produce goods, efficiently use resources for production of goods and services. So when both the sectors, the capitalist sector and the private socialistic sector, or the private and public sector, both are trying to use the resources efficiently for the production of their goods and services, then definitely we can say, as a combined effort in the economy, in a mixed economy, the resources are properly allocated and most efficiently used. That is one of the advantage, one of the merit that we can take up from both the sectors being operating together in a mixed economy. Economic stability. As we talk about economic stability, see, in the economy there are fluctuations, business fluctuations. There are ups and downs. We have studied about the business cycles. So, in the mixed economy, you have the free price mechanism or the free market mechanism, which we call price mechanism. When the forces of demand are less, the economic activities are less, the other side, from the supply side, the production gets automatically adjusted. The forces of demand and supply gets automatically adjusted in the market, and the unstable situation of the economy, or if there is instability in the economy, okay, then the stability is again achieved by the automatic adjustments in the market. If required, by a greater extent, if it's in a very critical situation, then government may intervene. Otherwise, the automatic adjustments in the market forces of demand and supply are enough to bring in those fluctuations into a stable state. May require some time, but it gets adjusted. So this economic situation of being unstable, fluctuations can be easily adjusted in the market itself, and the stability is again achieved. Advantages of free market mechanism. Advantages of free market mechanism, when we are talking about, just now as we said, the best advantage that we talk about a free market mechanism is that in the free market mechanism, the demand and supply forces sets the price of the commodity. But if there is shortage of supply, or if there is excess demand in the market, whatever may be the reason, certain factors may be there for the demand to rise, certain factors may be there for the shortage of supply, or if there is the opposite end, if there is shortage of demand and excess supply in the market. So in a situation where demand is very high and the supply is less, then the market forces of demand and supply automatically pushes up. There is an upward pressure on the price of the commodity that allows the supply to rise and the demand to contract, and ultimately brings in a stability or sets the equilibrium price. That gap of excess demand and less supply gets removed. in the market itself that you cannot see. That's we call about in economics, we call invisible hand. That's the advantage of the free price mechanism. Or if there is excess supply in the market but demand is less, then automatically production contracted. Okay, offers being given so that the demand gets generated. There is excess supply, demand is less. So offers being given, prices being reduced, this, that done, and this operations in the market itself brings about the forces, the demand to generate, so that the price goes down, demand generates, and that excess supply with the inventories which were there, they gets consumed, and the economy again comes to a stable position. So that's the advantage of free market mechanism we are talking about, that exists, very much prevails in the mixed economy. Rapid economic development. Now, producers, private sector mostly, they are very much in a motive to not only to advantage to reap the maximum profit, to maximize their profit, but also they have the target of improving quantitatively and qualitatively. So the increase in the level of production is one target, and improvement in the quality of the product, new innovations is also a target. So the growth part, that is the increase in the national output, national income, is there as the private sectors are operating. On the other hand, government is also there to look after, to monitor all the economic activities by the private sector, plus the developmental aspects, the qualitative aspects like social development, education, like health sector improvement, keeping social justice, providing sanitation facilities, what you call eradication of the child labor. There should not be gender discrimination. So all these are definitely looked after with different good policy matters from the government's end that brings about the development of the economy by a great extent. On one side, the quantitatively it's improving, one side qualitatively improving. So there is growth and development very much expected in a mixed economy. Check on concentration of economic power. Now, as we were talking about, these private operators, as they grow, as they improve on the production part, higher production, and they grow, the plant size grows and the business grows and the firm, the particular company grows and tries to attain some monopoly power, then government is there to put in restrictions. Yes, abiding by the laws, the company grows, no issues. So that's the thing which need to be mentioned, that every aspect, every social welfare, every rules and regulations set by the government, they are being followed by the private sector. And so there is, and whatever economic powers are being achieved by different enterprises, there is a particular check, there is a particular monitoring there in the mixed economy. That is one of the advantage that we talk about. And economic freedom that we have discussed in the features also. Freedom of the producers, freedom of the consumers. Producers are free to produce what they want except of some restricted items, hazardous items we tell. And consumers sovereignty, consumers freedom, consumer is free to choose, free to demand what they want according to their. So this freedom of producers and consumers is also a big advantage, or a big considered as a merit of the mixed economy that exists, that prevails in the mixed economy. Finally, we come to the last section of this mixed economy, where you have the demerits of mixed economy that can be considered. Conflict between two sectors. Now see, whenever two sectors are operating together, okay, there may be a conflict. One particular sector growing, trying to take control over another sector. Government on the other hand, as government trying to monitor by some excessive powers or the powers they have by maybe the paperwork, maybe the all the rules and regulations they are having. So there may be some conflict coming up in policy making. This is a very natural thing at times. Now this is not all the time. This may come up at times. Okay, that can be considered as a demerit of both the sectors being operating together. Inefficient operation. Now maybe the private sector being not given enough freedom, there may be certain restrictions being imposed which does not allow the private sector to expand production or to expand in the way or to operate in the way they want. Excessive regulations we talk about. This may at times bring up some ineffectiveness or inefficiency in the operation of the private sectors. When they want to flourish, when they want to operate by a large scale or certain. Now there are some good things also, but still if we consider that the operation is for the growth of the particular firm, that may add to the growth of the economy too, but because of some excessive restrictions, there may be inefficient operation. And from the public sector's point, due to lack of ineffectiveness, poor performance of public sector, because lack of competition is there, because there is lack of competition in the public sector, because there is lack of incentive. Why to work more if you are not getting any incentive for that added work other than your scheduled job, why you are trying to put in something extra when you don't have some incentive? So that lack of incentive, okay, lack of competition among the public sectors does not allow the public sector to grow that much in comparison where the private sector is operating together, where there is excessive competitiveness and they are trying to bring or they are trying to provide the best or the most advanced products, a most advanced output, goods and services in the economy. So see, this is the inefficient operation by the private sectors due to some excessive control and poor performance of the public sector because of the demerits that we have studied in the socialist economy, that is for the public sectors, lack of incentiveness and lack of competition and maybe some inefficient management, inefficient planning process, all these things are there. Okay, inefficient planning process, we have studied about the loopholes, we have studied about the inefficient use of resources. So that may be considered as another demerit in the mixed economy. And excessive regulations. Now if this is there, once government is operating along with the private sector, and if there is excessive regulations, if there is excessive rules that are bringing up the hindrance in very, very often to the procedural functionality of the private sectors, then it becomes a problem for the private sectors to operate. Okay, so these are the demerits you can consider, but not that much, very much extent. Mostly the advantages are of quite high standards. The mixed economy is supposed to be, and therefore we have the merits and demerits for mixed economy which need to be studied.